Hi everyone, welcome to Unknown Truth. Here I share spooky horror and mystery stories to help you relax and fall asleep. If you love chilling tales and a bit of suspense, you're in the right place. Get cozy, press play, and enjoy the stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a new story. So let's begin. Rain lashed against the car's windshield as Emily squinted to see the narrow road ahead. Her GPS had died hours ago, and she was hopelessly lost. The last sign she had passed read, Blackthorn Lane, but that was at least 2 miles back. Now all she could see were trees bending in the howling wind, and a suffocating darkness that pressed against her car like a living thing. Just as panic began to creep in, she spotted it. A house. Its outline was jagged against the stormy sky, its windows faintly illuminated. Desperate for directions and shelter, Emily pulled into the driveway. The house was old, its paint peeling, and the front porch sagged as though it had weathered centuries of neglect. Still, light meant life. She knocked on the heavy oak door. It creaked open slightly at her touch. "Hello?" she called, her voice trembling. "Is anyone here?" No answer. The warm glow of candlelight spilled into the hallway. Against her better judgment, Emily stepped inside. The air smelled of damp wood and something metallic, like rust. She walked toward the light, her footsteps echoing unnervingly in the silence. The living room was furnished with antique chairs and a grand piano covered in dust. A fire crackled in the hearth, its orange glow dancing on the walls. On the mantelpiece stood a series of photographs in ornate frames, but the faces were smudged, blurred, as if someone had deliberately erased them. A soft shuffle sounded behind her. Emily spun around. A man stood there, his face pale and gaunt, his eyes shadowed hollows. He wore a suit that seemed a century out of fashion. "You shouldn't be here," he said softly, his voice like dry leaves rustling. "It's not safe." Emily's heart raced. "I'm sorry, I got lost. I just need directions." The man stared at her, unblinking. "Once you've entered, it's already too late." "What do you mean?" Emily asked, backing toward the door. Before he could answer, the fire sputtered out, plunging the room into darkness. A chilling laugh echoed from somewhere above, a sound that didn't belong to any human throat. Panic overtook Emily. She bolted toward the door, but it slammed shut with a force that rattled the walls. Her breath came in gasps as she fumbled with the doorknob. It wouldn't budge. "You mustn't run," the man said suddenly beside her, though she hadn't heard him move. "It only makes them angry." "Who?" she screamed, tears streaming down her face. A deafening thud came from upstairs, followed by another, closer this time. The man's face twisted in fear. "They're coming." Emily's instinct screamed at her to escape. She darted into the hallway, searching for another way out. She found a narrow staircase leading down into a cellar. It was her only option. She descended, the stairs groaning under her weight. The cellar was cold and damp, lit by a single flickering bulb. The walls were lined with shelves, and on them sat jars filled with murky liquid. Inside, floating in grim suspension, were objects, fingers, eyes, and other unidentifiable remains. Emily clamped a hand over her mouth to stifle a scream. Behind her, the door to the cellar slammed shut. Heavy footsteps descended the stairs. Emily grabbed a rusted pipe from the wall and held it out in front of her, trembling. The man appeared at the bottom of the stairs, his face eerily calm. "You can't fight them. No one ever does." "What do they want?" she demanded. He tilted his head. "To keep you. To feed." The light bulb flickered out, plunging the cellar into pitch darkness. Emily swung the pipe wildly, but it hit only air. The laughter started again, surrounding her, closing in. Cold hands, too many to count, grasped her arms, her legs, pulling her into the void. Her screams echoed once, then fell silent. Upstairs, the fire in the hearth roared back to life. On the mantel, a new photograph appeared. A blurry image of a young woman, her face twisted in terror. And outside, the rain continued to fall.